he was there, as I said, when he was around, he was really attentive and I idolized him. Just sat us down one day and said he was leaving and he'd gone the next day. You didn't see curvy models when I was young. You didn't see models with my skin tone, very few when I was young. You didn't see models with my hair type when I was young either. And within 4 weeks, I got scouted by 4 model agencies, just out of the blue. And I don't think I could have achieved as much as I have done in the last 5 years had I been with somebody. I think there's definitely been some benefits, panged or peppered with deep loneliness sometimes and an exhaustion of doing everything on my own.
Hello and welcome to Second Act, the podcast and community for women in midlife who refuse to fade into the background. I'm your host, Ateh Jewel, and I'll be speaking to celebrity guests about the moment they knew they were in their second act and how they're changing the game in their next one. Our guest for today's episode is model and social media star Mia Maugé. Mia has some seriously cool accolades under her belt, including being M&S's first lingerie model over the age of 50 and even appearing as Disney's first black, silver-haired, middle-aged mermaid in their live-action The Little Mermaid film. She is constantly challenging the stereotypes of aging, and I cannot wait to have her on and get into it. Mia Maugé, welcome to Second Act. Mia!
Hello!
Welcome to Second Act. I'm so excited to have a proper sit down and chitty chat with you.
Me
This
too.
is going to be so fun. Please tell me in 3 words how you would summarize your first act.
I've thought about this, I'm going to be honest, and I would say trial and error.
Tell me what the trials and errors have been.
I had to really stumble through my first act. Been on my own since the age of 17. Yeah.
Okay, so you are, I'm a survivor.
Yeah. I had to grow up. I had to survive. I had to nurture and care for other people as well during that time. My younger brother.
Siblings?
Yeah.
So you were mummy at 17.
Kind of, yeah. I'd say 18.
18.
Because that's when I got my first home, was 18, and it was social housing.
Yeah.
So, and he came to live with me. Yeah.
So at 18, you got your brother.
I did.
And became a parent, basically.
Kind of, yeah. I saw him into his manhood, yeah.
How much time was there for you to be teenage Mia, free Mia, up in the club Mia, let me discover who I am Mia?
So I guess, I mean, I kind of felt my backstory is really quite, we could be here all day with my backstory. So my dad's a Trini.
Yes.
My dad was a Trini. The most amazing dad.
Oh.
I adored my dad. Very attentive when he was around, but he was a musician. So he was away a lot. So I spent a lot of my childhood, didn't have a great relationship with my mother.
Oh.
So I spent a lot of my childhood yearning for him.
Missing
he
him.
would send postcards. If we had FaceTime back then, it would have been very different.
Yes.
But it was waiting for the postcards, wanting him to come home. So I had that. And in that space, because I wasn't close to my mum and my brother was close to my mother, I felt excluded. So I've always felt independent. I've had a strong sense of independence from a very young age.
You had to look after yourself.
I did.
Emotionally, sounds like welfare physically as well.
No, I did.
Did you?
For sure.
Did you just
Had
say,
jobs
I'm out
from
of
a
here?
really young age.
How old were you when you left home?
My mum came into some money, some inheritance. My grandmother passed away. We never had money. And she came into some money. My parents are separated by then. And my mum, gosh, we've got so deep so quickly, Ateh. What's going on?
This is called Second Act.
Therapy session.
Yeah, listen, this is a safe space.
So felt kind of independent from a very young age, had jobs from a very young age. I did everything. I think I was on a milk round, paper round, worked in the dry cleaners. So self-sufficient within the family context.
Did you feel you have to be to feel safe?
That's a good question. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think I was creating,
I relate
some
to
kind
that.
of safety.
Graft equals safety.
That's a really good point. I've not thought of that, but yeah, probably.
Well, good for you, little Mia. Good for you.
I know.
It sounded like you had a lot on your plate. There's a lot going on. There's no room to grow.
I think I did grow. I think it was quite the opposite. I think I grew very. I had to. I was forced to. I was forced to be strong and independent and feisty and all those things for survival.
If you were to give yourself a report card for your first act, what would it say?
Mia doesn't realise her potential. She doesn't understand or needs to dig deep to optimize and reach her full potential. I never felt I did that.
Because you couldn't, you were in survival mode.
Exactly.
My therapist says to me, no, children are supposed to play. Then they're supposed to feel safe and play and discover who they are, not figure it out. And it made me realize I had to figure it out and I didn't have the space to play and to grow into who I am, what I like. Do you feel the same thing?
Do you know what? I had the opposite.
Figure it out.
I had the opposite.
Saying that.
I had the opposite with my kids. I think I gave them everything that little Mia wanted.
There's two types of yes.
Yeah, my inner child. I fed my inner child through my kids. Don't know if you've ever heard me say that before, but I definitely feel. Sorry, my daughter's over there.
I know. It is, there's two types. When you've had kind of a rough start or you've had a traumatic start, I do think there's two types of parenting or mothering where you give everything that you didn't have, or you feel a bit triggered. I think I'm on the triggered side.
Right, yeah. And understandably.
I'm trying really hard to get over that.
Understandably
but
so.
I love Bomb in different ways, but it can be very triggering.
Yeah. No, I was the at-home mum for a period of time. Yeah. I was the cake sale mummy.
Yeah.
I was on the PTA,
You were that mum.
I was that mum. I wanted all their friends to come to our house, and do arts and crafts. And I was that hands-on mum that I felt I didn't have.
And did it heal you?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I loved it. I absolutely loved. I think that's the most coziest, most content I've been, I think, in my life. Yeah.
That yummy mummyhood
I loved it.
You created. How beautiful. I mean, you are in your second act. What does that actually mean to you?
I would say it means nurturing myself, prioritizing myself, coming to fruition in lots of ways, coming to an understanding of myself. And this all sounds really self-centered.
No, it's beautiful.
I spent a long time giving and nurturing others. And I think a lot of women feel like that when they get to the second act. And my second act kind of came in two phases. I think I had a false start in my 40s.
What do you mean by false start?
So false start in my 40s was I dreaded my 40th birthday. And it's the first birthday I did not want to acknowledge. I've never been a big party person, but I've always acknowledged my birthdays. My 40th was the one I was just like, I don't want to be 40. I didn't want to be 40. It was ageism. It was my own internalized ageism that I didn't recognize. I just was listening to societal constructed societal beliefs. So I was listening. So society's limiting beliefs had become my own self-limiting beliefs. So society's limited expectations of me had become my limited beliefs.
What were the whispers?
It was just like,
I'm over it. No one's going to find
I wasn't single at that time, but yes, a little bit of that. I was still dyeing my hair then as well, which was a big factor for me, which I can talk you through. It was believing that I wasn't worthy, believing that I was becoming irrelevant, believing that this wasn't a new chapter, this was the beginning of a decline. That's how I recognized it. 40 meant to me, so I'd had my nice, cozy, yummy mummy bit, period in my life. And my daughters were growing up. They were kind of becoming, I think they were coming to the end of primary school age. And so there was a sense of me becoming redundant. There was a lot going on when I think about it. I'd also taken time out to be at home with my kids, and it was like struggling to get back on the career path as well was a factor. And I felt like I hadn't reached the stage I should have reached by 40. So I wanted to rewind the clock. I didn't want to acknowledge that I was 40. I didn't want to believe it myself, and therefore I was reflecting that in every way. I mean, back then, if someone had said to me, "You look good for your age," it was a compliment. I was like, oh, wow, I'm doing something right. It was the complete wrong mindset. The second phase, or the real starting point for my second act, was 50. That was when the mindset flipped.
Was that you stepping into your queendom power era? Oh my
God, so much so. It was a gradual thing, and it was an unexpected thing. After 10 years of feeling the way I've just described, I realized I'd had enough. And again, I'd been dyeing my hair for almost 2 decades. And at 50, not not under duress, but my daughters had about a year-long campaign of saying, can we just stop putting this brown sludge on your head that stinks of ammonia every 2 weeks? It's disgusting. And we love your silver hair, because I don't know if you remember this mid kind of like 2015, 2016, there was this phase of younger people dyeing their hair grey. Mine was 2016.
Yeah.
And it was nothing to do with social media. It was my daughters nagging me for a year. And then I had an operation and I had to have 6 weeks. I had an upper abdominal hernia op and I had 6 weeks to recover.
It's no
awful
joke.
I know. And I had 6 weeks to recover and I was like, you know what, let me just let these roots come through. And I'd always loved the colour. That was the thing. Like women that dye their hair because they prefer the dye is a very different thing. No, there's lots of women that have fun with dye and, you know, they really like the colour and they do highlights and they have fun with it. I wasn't doing that. I was literally, it was about hiding my age.
Protection
it was about
from shame.
Yeah, it was. I was embarrassed.
Shame.
Yeah, I was embarrassed. And in 2016, I was also single. So it was a big, like, how do you navigate?
Or you broke up from your...
I've never been married, but we separated. My children's dad and I had separated 2010.
And how long had you been together?
15 years.
So that is heartbreak.
It was awful. It was a decision I had to, like I made.
The trigger. Boom.
Yeah. And it was heartbreaking to make that decision because it was heartbreaking for me as well as everybody else. But it was the right decision. And I think we did the best we could.
It was, you know what it is? It's the little child in you wanting so desperately to cling on to a fairy tale.
Oh my God.
It's the
so
death
much
of,
so.
death of
you
the
are
dream.
So right.
Death of the dream.
It was that. I really wanted my girls to have what I didn't have. I wanted them to have that security, that unit. So it was a lot of deliberating, you know. It was about 8 years of the 15 years of me trying to make it work, realising
Can you please say that out loud? Because women... I know it's a huge generalization, but we don't go fast. We go slow.
Yeah.
It's like little footsteps and then it's done. And I think men get shocked. It's like...
They don't see it coming.
They don't see... Well, it's been 8 years. For me, it was 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you should have seen it coming. And then once the door is closed, we're done. And I think men are the opposite, where they go or they blow something up and then they have a really good time and then they mourn it for the rest of their lives. While we're like, whatever.
Yeah, I think now I'm still reeling from it. You know, 15 years on. Yeah, there's still guilt. There's still, you know, even though I know it was the right decision, I still would have loved it to have worked. There's still that. Yeah.
Him or the dream? That's what someone said to me.
Really?
Chase do you want that yummy feeling of love and warmth in a home, or do you actually want him? Because those are two different things.
He was a lovely person. He is a lovely, lovely person.
It just didn't work.
It's just, we were just very different. We had different desires in life, you know, and goals. I mean, there's more to it, but
it's so hard.
Respect for him, I wouldn't. Yeah, I won't. I won't go into detail. But
I'm only laughing because
person.
It's you are being respectful, and I have talked trash.
I've never.
Situation.
Yeah.
But God bless you for keeping it classy.
No, I've never genuinely never felt like that about him.
That's really hard. He's decent. Sometimes it's okay,
but
love is not enough.
Right. Yeah,
love is not enough, and you are brave. So you're recovering from a hernia. You've got heartbreak. You've got daughters who are.
And I'm considering going grey, and it's like, how do I navigate like being single? What man is going to fancy me with grey hair? That was, you know, my inner ageist.
Yes.
Work, career-wise,
yes.
You know.
Were you modelling at this point?
No. I just decide after knowing that I've got 6 weeks to recover from this op, I'm just not going to dye my hair. I don't have to see anybody. I can stay at home and just see where I go with this. And as I said, I always loved the colour and I always knew I would go grey at some stage. I always thought I was going to do it at 45, but at 45, like I said, I was single and I was a music journalist and I had kind of worked in publishing and then it was all becoming digitalized and I was feeling a little bit redundant in that space as well.
The world
so
was
there was
changing.
a pressure for me to cling on to my youth at every cost, you know? So the grey hair was not going to feature. It was just never going to feature. So at 50, going through this operation, 6 weeks, the girls nagging me, I had 6 weeks to just wear it out and see what I thought and how I felt about it. And then 6 weeks became a couple months and I loved it. I loved it. I looked crazy. I felt butters for 2 years, but I loved the fact that the feeling that was coming with it and the experiences that I was going through as I looked crazy with the stunk, you know, stripe and all of that. And people like in Tesco, the cashiers talking to my hair and just looking really confused, telling me the cost of my shopping, but like talking to the halo of silver.
Rude.
But they couldn't understand it. It just looked like I was letting myself go. You know, people just thought, friends, the same thing. They would meet me, they hadn't seen me for a little while, and they would say nothing about this halo of grey that was like, what is happening?
So this is 2016.
And I'm perimenopausal as well. Perimenopause is in the mix too. So it was a crazy time.
People just probably thought you were in crisis.
They did. They assumed I was in crisis. And I did too, if I'm honest, because I had all the symptoms and no diagnosis as well. So there was a lot going on. Anyway, the silver hair journey, with it came this realization and me identifying and understanding my own inner ageism and how powerful our youth-focused society is when you're bombarded with all this messaging around staying young. You know, whether it's beauty products that say, you know, fight your wrinkles, you've got to combat and fight wrinkles, you've got to, at every cost, look younger, cover those greys, you know, all the marketing around beauty products at that time was that. And I didn't question it when I was 30 and 40. I just bought into it. When I was going through the grey hair transition, that made me ask myself, why was I doing this? Like, why was I doing this? I actually loved the colour. And the longer it got, the more I loved it and the more rooted I felt, for want of a better word.
Yes.
But the more rooted I felt in myself, the more settled I felt in my skin. And I didn't expect that to come with me, that one decision to just stop dyeing my hair. And that was the beginning. That was the elevation of my second act. That was me. So the first bit was the 40, which was just denial, false start for the second act. And this was the real deal. This
50.
was, that was it for me.
And can I just say,
And it changed my life completely.
Literally.
Just changed, your
career, how you felt about yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, hair is so important. It's culture.
It really is.
Power, identity, status, culture.
It really is.
Self-love. It's so important.
Yeah, it really is. It can be a statement. My hair has always been that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Where is your mum from?
My mum's English, Essence Jet and Ebony. She bought those.
I
and
love
that was a reflection for me of beauty. So she was, she tried. I have to be grateful for that. So
she surrounded you with positive imagery.
Did. And we're talking 70.
So you grew up in a very diverse, juicy, interesting world.
Bubble.
Did it help you feel good about yourself? Did you feel that you were beautiful? Did you feel that you fit?
So remember I said earlier about hair being a statement. Yes. It was for me back then. Like we wore our afros with pride. Like I had afro hair. My hair was natural, always has been. I did experiment with relaxing in the 90s.
We all did.
Yeah, I did do that.
Talk to me about you're 17, your mum inherits money. It's feeling like a Jane Austen novel at this point. Did you twirl into a new house or like a new life?
No, you would think, right? But my mum is a bit of a nomadic kind of hippie type person. And she decided it would be a good idea for us to up sticks and go to America with no plan in place.
Can I tell you, I did that too with my mama.
Did you? No way.
She's like, we're going to America.
Yeah, really similar. My mum had no plan. She took us to New York first, and we stayed in a hotel that was ironically called the Diplomat. You'd think it would be really, high end and premium.
You're my soul sister.
It was a halfway house.
Yeah. In New York.
New York, near Broadway. It was just...
What year is this? Give me a year.
We're talking 82. 1982. I would have been 17, 1982. So
number
it was
one,
Eddie Murphy. And
the music would have been lit.
the music was lit, yeah.
How old were you? You were 17. 1982, 17-year-old Mia in New York. Sounds fabulous, but I know
Really
you're
not. The reality
I know you would have been
was-
traumatized.
Yeah, the
was.
reality was I was uprooted, and as I said, I didn't have this great bond with my mum, and so my friends were my family.
Yeah.
And to be just taken, and I'd also had my first boyfriend as well, my first, that kind of puppy love. So I'd been taken out of that, and I was in this unit that I had always felt slightly excluded in.
Did you go to school, high school?
There was no plan. No. We just floated around. We did
No high school.
no,
education.
and I would have loved that, I think. Had that been an option, maybe things would have been different. But no, New York and then down to LA. And I think I lasted 3 months, and I was like, just pleaded with my mum to let me go back to London. And she did. So she'd say that I left, of my own accord. It was the best of a bad situation. So I left, and I came back, and I went to live with one of the families that were in the block of 6 flats, which was Starkis's wife and was ex-wife at that time. I went to live with them until I was 18, and my mum then signed our home over to me. So I got the council or housing association flat.
Aged
and had
out.
full independence at that point. Yeah. So that's how we got to 18 and being on your own. And then my brother came to live with me a couple of years later.
He
a
ran
year
from
later or
America
something.
too.
He came back as well. My mum stayed there.
Your
And
mum stayed in America?
She stayed, she ended up in the Caribbean, and she lived there for about 20 years.
Did you feel abandoned by that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But I had, at that point, I was kind of used to that because my dad had left as well. My dad left really suddenly. Like, he was there, as I said, when he was around, he was really attentive, and I idolized him. And he just sat us down one day and said he was leaving, and he'd gone the next day. And he didn't just go around the corner. He went to travel around India with his new girlfriend. I know. And back then, again, if you had FaceTime, I would have had that communication. Back then, it's letters and postcards, and that's it. And you've got to wait for weeks for them to come through. We had a phone, but it was so expensive to call abroad then. And we didn't, I didn't come from that. So
it was like, bye-bye.
He'd gone, yeah. And he sent me the most, I know my dad adored me. And he explained that in letters and whatever that I still have, but, or expressed that. But yeah, it was tough. So I felt abandonment then. So I knew what that felt like. And I think I was, by that point, had got some kind of resilience to it. And then he died when I was 18. So
it was a traumatic
It was sudden
ending.
and traumatic, yeah.
You're 18 and realizing the world is a very unsafe, unfair place.
Yeah. So, and that's how I kind of have navigated. And I've never had therapy either. I know. I have only come to that realization in the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
That's like saying, I've got 2 broken legs, but you know what? I don't need to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't need to put a cast on it. I'll just figure it out.
Honestly, I've
you'd
just
be mad.
felt like I've had to,
But why?
I've just done that. I think it's always been an expectation of myself that I've placed on myself, is just to be resilient, be strong, keep going. Just survival mode. I've lived in survival mode for most of my adult life without questioning it, leaning into how I'm feeling a lot of the time.
Numb.
Yeah.
I think survival and numbness are huge things.
Now I realize that, like, in the moment, it's just survival. You're just like, you don't want to lean into any kind of level of vulnerability because it's uncomfortable. So it's like, you just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Be that strong, resilient individual that you need to be to get through this. And that's how I've always dealt with things. I realize now, no, it's not the way to go.
2020? You started modelling.
I did.
In the apocalypse.
Okay.
Talk to me about that.
I know. No, it came out of nowhere. So at that point, I was working as head of PR and comms for Notting Hill Carnival, which was my dream job. Yeah.
That's
it was changing the negative narrative, the unfair negative narrative around that amazing, culturally significant event that serves London in, economically in so many ways, and that's overlooked. Back to 2020. So I was on Instagram, but a couple of hundred friends and family that I shared with, but by this time my hair was fully grown. Obviously I stopped dyeing it in 2016. So I had the full head of silver hair. And I was viewing the world in a different way. I was blooming in ways I hadn't imagined. I was living a good life. I was saying yes to much more than I'd ever said yes to before. And I thought, I am going to go public with my Instagram page. As a consumer, I felt really overlooked by beauty and fashion brands. I had spent, I was 14 years over 40, and you just never saw, in those 14 years, I never saw any kind of representation in fashion and beauty marketing. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I felt overlooked as a young woman as a girl becoming a young woman, which gave me all kinds of issues around, my body type not being, the kind of beauty standard, not meeting any kind of beauty standard. So you didn't see curvy models when I was young. You didn't see models with my skin tone, very few when I was young. You didn't see models with my hair type when I was young either, very few. And so I had felt othered and overlooked then.
Yeah.
And here I am as a 50-year-old woman, or a woman in the throes of midlife, 40 to 55, 54. And those boxes have been ticked. And now there's no one my age. Like I'm being overlooked again. So I felt really irked and angered by spending my money with these brands that were not seeing me and not recognizing me and overlooking me and had previously made me feel invisible, when here I am having a fantastic life and really loving this time in life. So I thought, I'm not going to leave it to the gatekeepers. I'm going to set up a platform for us where we can be seen. And I had this vague idea about, a shopping platform that targeted and marketed things to my demographic. And I thought that would probably take 4 or 5 years to build. But the starting point was going public with my Instagram page to see if there was like-minded women. Yeah, so my hair was full length at this point and garnered, a couple thousand followers, because there were women who weren't able to get to salons because it was lockdown. Okay. And they were documenting their silver hair journey. Everyone was kind of going grey. Yes. So that community was building. And so they found me very quickly because I had the full length. So it was like, oh, that's what it's going to look like. And not many women, it was quite a radical thing to do in 2016.
It was so rare. And like, you did that by choice.
Yes, I know, exactly.
It was a different thinking.
It really was. And I think because I was at the final stages of it, there was this interest, and the majority of those women that I connected with, amazing women that I've now made friends with, a lot of them, they were my age. So what I was talking about, which was, I was being really open about menopause. I was talking about a lack of representation, a lack of age inclusivity, and poor representation of women my age, and inaccurate representation of women my age. And so it resonated. And within 4 weeks, I got scouted by 4 model agencies, just out of the blue, on Instagram. And so I think there was this kind of perfect storm that really resulted from, at the core of the storm was COVID. I don't think the model agencies would have been online as much. I don't think I would have been discovered. So I did modeling as a 3-year-old just by chance. My mum knew a photographer that needed someone to model for a child model for Bieber. I did one shoot with them, and the photos from that had been pride of place in my family's homes for decades. And so I kind of glamorized modeling in my mind. Yeah, it was the thing I was most proud of as a child, because I wasn't ever told, there was no expectation of me. Anyway, when it was time for you're 16, you're leaving school, you get a meeting with your careers advisor. And I went to this meeting with my mum, and the careers advisor asked me what I wanted to do. And I had no idea. I was the free school meals kid that there was no expectation from at school. So rude. My dad had gone. My mum was a busy working mum. There was literally no expectation for my next move. And I just blurted out, oh, I want to be a model. The careers advisor told... She must have looked at this chubby 16-year-old, and back then it was like, that's never going to happen. Yeah. And she just said, I think you'd be better off training to be a nurse. And I know. And I was like, okay, that was that. And I packed up that idea, and, it was unrealistic, and never revisited it again.
Why did we swallow the nonsense that we were fed?
It's the naivety and it's inexperience, and it's us just being young
and just swallowing
and
it.
just being just being told. My younger self my 16-year-old self would definitely be really, really happy with what's happened. And it was something that came out of the blue. I was really camera shy.
So you are Mia the model in your 50s.
54, yeah. And my first job, one of my first jobs was lingerie. And I am not the most body confident. I've never been the most body confident person.
That is scary.
I'm still not. The most petrifying thing. Honestly, I didn't sleep the night before. On set, all the other models were under 30. And I'm this 54-year-old body that I'm not comfortable in.
Yeah.
They gave me a glass of water and I couldn't find my mouth. My hand was shaking that much
Back
before
in the day,
I went on set.
It would have been vodka. Different times.
I wished it was at the time.
Times. Yeah. The 90s.
But once I got on set in my lingerie and we were all dancing.
Yes,
and
I remember.
I asked them to play soca. They said, what music would you like? And I was like, it's got to be soca. This is going to take me out of this mood. And I got in the zone and I did it. And it was the most connected I had ever felt with my body at any time in life. It was just me and my body. It was a huge cavernous studio with mostly men on the crew. And I just switched off and enjoyed the moment. And then came off stage, or offset, elated that I'd done it. Oh my God, this is like, I did it. And then realized I was going to have my body all over billboards and in the press and in the store. And oh my God, what's going to happen? I spent 3 months worrying about what this campaign was going to look like. And thankfully they were really kind to me, and it was an amazingly powerful campaign.
It's a mark in the sand.
Yeah.
It was a cultural shift in my opinion.
And then off the back of that, I was in every tabloid newspaper, every broadsheet. I was discussed on Loose Women. My picture was flagged up, and because the campaign was huge and it had massive impact. It was about skin tones and inclusivity and what nude meant. But the focus became this silver-haired model because that hadn't been seen before. And then I got my blue tick on Instagram as a result of that, because it was before you could pay for it. And things just kind of snowballed from there.
I love that for you. Very healing. Little Mia must have been really proud.
Well, more importantly, I have to say, in reality, had the modelling come earlier, I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it.
Interesting.
It came at the right time because it was the purpose and service of it. Like, it was me representing, and
it wasn't about being pretty, Mia.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. For me, the draw, and it still is now, I'm really selective about who I work with. I don't want to be in stereotypical roles. I don't want to be grandma. Not that I'm desperate to be a grandma, by the way, but it's like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to be in spaces that were previously reserved for people that don't look like me, whatever that might be, whether it's my skin tone, my hair texture, my hair color, my age, my body type. I just want to break barriers and make a mark and make a change. That's why I do what I do. And that's what excites me. And now, as a result, it doesn't petrify me anymore. I'm like, I look forward to it. And it's meant that the modelling has led to being a voice as well, and that's really important to me. So I do a lot of panel talks. I do brand consultations about how they present and target our demographic, what we want, what we need, that we don't want to be talked about. We don't want aging to be talked about in a negative way. We want to nurture and nourish and celebrate and appreciate what we have in this moment, as opposed to being in fighting mode. Who wants to fight with what's going naturally on this? We want to, we just want to enjoy the now. And this notion that it needs to be fixed, that's something that's really powerful and needs to change because it impacts people in so many ways. And it cultivates a fear of aging. And I've come through that against all odds, against all the noise that society has presented to me around aging and how youthfulness is desirable and all of that, whether that be how you look or how you conduct yourself. It's like, there's so much value in maturity that we don't speak about.
Wisdom. I mean, I want to ask you, how do you hope that the world changes in the way it treats midlife women?
Language, like I was saying, language around it. I think it needs to be celebrated. One of the things that really shocked me about the growth in people that I've connected with on Instagram has been the age range. I felt that there was a potential to connect with women my own age. I never realized that young women that I would appeal to young women.
They need someone to look up to.
Oh my God. And I needed that.
Yeah,
I
no, we
didn't
never had
realize
it.
it. We didn't
never had
have
it.
a reference point. And I think there's so much power in that because just based on messages and comments that I get from younger women, I don't think I've ever had a negative comment from a younger person.
No.
It's always been the one I love the most. It's one word and it's goals. And because to me, it's nothing to do with me personally. It's about the bigger picture.
You are now aspirational,
and
you never were.
It's this age that needs to be seen as aspirational.
That's what you're doing.
It should be the goal. It's it's such a magnificent time in life, and we all want to live for a long time, but we don't see what the beauty and the power that comes with it. It's not presented to us, and I think I hope that's what people see when they see my page or they see me in a campaign where you wouldn't ordinarily see someone that looks like me. I hope that young women and my peers as well are empowered by that, and it's another alternative to what society is generally telling us.
I call it being seen and celebrated.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. It's very difficult to be something you've never seen.
I feel like had I seen the powers that come with maturity, that can only come with time, like you said, wisdom, which is the big one, the big W word, but also honed skills, honed life skills, honed transferable skills, knowledge, confidence as well, that can't come without time and lived experience. Decision making that comes from an informed place. There's so much that comes with it, and if we can make that kind of, if people see that, it just changes their whole perception of what their future selves can look like. And that's what young people say to me. Women say to me on a regular basis on Instagram, "Oh my God, I can actually see a lot of it is. I can see how I want to live my life. Much of it is that." I love your attitude, and those are the things that really makes my day. I get goosebumps, and
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
because you're changing what, back in the day in the 80s, like 40 was an old lady.
Oh my God, yeah. When I hit 40, I was like, it's over.
Yeah,
this is the beginning of the decline. Yeah.
You're just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I realised that in my 40s. I didn't, and I wasted so much time in this turmoil.
Of
that's my only regret in life. But
you know what? It's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, talking about journeys and being transformed and being transformational, what was it like to be turned into a midlife mermaid for Disney's live-action version of The Little Mermaid? Did you spend any time with Halle?
No, I saw her in the distance on her boat whilst I was submerged in water. It was in the sea, waving to her. So I saw her from a distance. But that was the most incredible experience, I have to say. Yeah.
Mermaid goals.
I know. I can't believe it. I can actually claim to be Disney's first middle-aged, silver-haired mermaid of colour.
I want to cry.
I can claim to be that.
I want to cry. That's huge.
And my future grandchildren will see my name in the credits. I know.
Pressure,
it's literally for a nanosecond. I know, I'm desperate. It's literally for a nanosecond.
No,
you have to literally don't blink. It's at the end finale. But it was the most incredible experience. It was really difficult, I have to say. I had to stay submerged in a really buoyant bodysuit underwater with holding onto a weight with choppy sea. And my role was to just emerge elegantly and
Regal.
poised. Yeah. And it was honestly, I was almost choking and water in my eyes. Exactly. But I think I pulled it off. I'll have to show you the video.
Yes. I just have it on a loop playing anywhere I went. Congratulations.
Yeah, I am really proud of it, actually, even though it's like it's
in
a tiny
Disney film.
thing.
You're a mermaid in a Disney film. That's huge. That's legacy.
Oh, I like to think so.
Yeah. So your daughter Carmen's here with us today. Hello.
Yes.
She often features in your videos. What's it like to work with your child?
We were talking about this the other day, and we like each other.
Yes.
You know, we like each other as individuals, and I think that plays a big part. I trust her. You know, I know her motive is always going to be she's invested.
Yeah.
You know, and she learns quickly. She's not a social media person at all. She doesn't really like social media, so she's had to learn that. She spins lots of plates. She does my admin. She, she's across she does my makeup, she does my hair, and it is fun most of the time. The only sacrifice I was saying earlier is that we don't spend as much quality time together. Like we used to spend a lot of time together at the weekends.
Yeah.
And I think she's kind of done with me by Friday. I would still hang out with her, but
like,
we do still do it, but we don't do it as much as we used to.
You know, it's very traditional. It's like intergenerational. You live and work together as a team, as a family.
She doesn't live with me.
Or do you not live together?
No, my girls have moved out. I have an empty nest.
Empty nest. What is empty nesting?
Fabulous. I mean, again, that's something that I struggled with in my 40s was letting go of my children.
Because that's your identity.
Was really, honestly, so turbulent. But yeah, there was that because it was letting go of much of what I felt was my identity at the time. Yeah.
It's not actually about the kids most of the time.
Oh my God,
about
no.
Who am I now?
Who am I now as I step back into this, as I step back into the workplace for some of it as well, but just stepping into a whole new era, it was like, I don't even know who I am, you know? And if I'm not a mother, if I'm not a partner, if I really struggled. 40s was really a difficult time for me.
And how has your approach changed to motherhood now that you are in your second act compared to your first act?
There was a grieving period. There was a period when they were going from teens to adults, and you have to let go, and you do not want to let them out into the big wide world. Like I had a fear of letting go. I just wanted to rewind the clock and hold those chubby hands again and make sure they were okay. And you have to let go. You can see that there's mistakes being made. You can feel, and you know that they're not going to listen to you. There's a point where they stop listening to you, and you have to just let them be and let them make those mistakes and let them learn from them and be there for them when they make those mistakes. So the dynamics shift in that sense, that you're not able to protect them as much, and you have to let go. Now I would say I've completely let go.
Like, bye.
Yeah, I know.
Bye.
I've gone through all the phases. Bye-bye. And I love my space. I love having an empty nest. I love
just
it.
I can just girl in your house.
There's no like, if I leave mess, there's no leading by example required anymore. I can leave a mess if I want to, and no one's going to say, no one's going to say, but you told me to pick up my thing, and now you're doing it. There's that. There's the leading by example thing can be really stressful.
Oh, that's horrific.
It can be so, pressured.
It's like if you want them to be a certain way, you have to be
You have to be it.
And that's exhausting.
It bloody well is. I found that exhausting. And so, sometimes there's a lot that I'm proud of myself, and that I know that I've shown them that they've learned from. But then there's also stuff that I've shielded them from that I haven't been able to fully be because I haven't things that I needed to work on.
Yeah.
That I've had to shield them from, and that's hard work.
That's being a mum, a good mum.
Yeah. And I also think another thing that we do as mothers is we want that line of communication.
Yes.
And when they tell you something that you're alarmed by, you don't show it, because you have to calmly pack that emotion that you're feeling up and put it on a shelf and just like
detach.
Yeah. And just to allow that to keep that communication there and that dialogue there. So you might,
I won't be angry.
yeah, it's like,
but just tell mama.
and then you process it afterwards. Yeah. So there's a lot of mental, kind of pressure that goes on from being a parent. And I feel I'm kind of relieved of much of that. I didn't demonstrate to my children the value of self-care and self-investment. And I think if you do that, I think there's power in that as well.
Power.
I was give. And we're applauded for that. Come Mother's Day, everybody says, oh, my mum was so self-sacrificing and so selfless. And that's an honourable thing and a noble thing and an expectation. And if you're not that, then what kind of mother are you? Yeah. And I think there's so much more to being a mum. I wish I'd demonstrate. I didn't do self-care. I didn't do it. And I think if I'd done that, I would be showing my children, one, that I'm an individual that needs to look after herself and needs her space.
Yeah, and that you're important.
And that I'm important. And two, I'd be demonstrating to them what self-care looks like for them.
Yeah.
And I never did that. And that's maybe something that your children will see in you. You're getting therapy. So there's no right or wrong way. like working mums demonstrate independence and
the guilt.
The power of that.
Whatever you do, you have guilt.
Yeah. I think I could have. I think a balance is good.
Literally.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle is always right. But it's you know what? We have to give ourselves grace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
But talk to me. You talk very openly about being single.
Yeah.
I'm back on the streets after 26 long years.
The single streets is not easy.
The single streets are feral. The last time I dated, the internet was not invented.
They're also they're not overcrowded. It's not. There's a lot of dead ends and
U-turns.
Yeah.
What has single life been like for you? Because are you on dating apps? Are you dating?
Okay,
have you gone feral?
It's been a long time.
Yes.
There's moments and then there's moments. So there's moments where I feel content. There's times where I feel like, okay, I can do this. I'm good on my own. In fact, there was a phase where there was a lot of growth and I really appreciated being on my own. And I think I needed to be on my own. Where I cherished my own company, I was getting to know myself. I was, doing lots of things and I could be selfish with my time as well. And I don't think I could have achieved as much as I have done in the last 5 years had I been with somebody. I don't think I could have applied myself or been as available as I have been. Without really annoying a partner, So I think there's definitely been some benefits. Panged or peppered with deep loneliness sometimes and an exhaustion of doing everything on my own. And just wanting, the times when I miss having somebody the most has been when things are really good. Yeah. And I can't share it with somebody. And my girls have they're over it now. It's like, I want a partner.
And a cup of tea and a little debrief.
A debrief, exactly. And a cuddle and how was your day? That kind of thing. Yeah. So I miss that. What have I done? I've done apps. Apps are not for me.
What have you done? I've done them all, babe.
Oh, I did Raya. Raya I had no luck with. I got tumbleweeds on Raya, like nobody.
I had lots of attention.
Activity. And is this with men your age? Just out of interest, because I think there's so much to be said about male ageism.
Can I just say, because I did not know how to do it, so I didn't have filters at the time.
Right.
My friend was like, for the love of God, put some filters on. So it was 25 to 65, and the ones under 40 were so different to the ones over 40.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm writing about it because the social experiment, and I just got all journalist mode and go, thank you, 25-year-old personal trainer. May I ask why you want to take me out?
Yeah.
Because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, older women, you're not needy. You have so much more body confidence.
We definitely know what we like.
Yeah, it was
what we need.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
A few of them were saying, you don't want to have a baby. You want to have and I was like, yeah, I have more in common with a 25-year-old than you know what I mean? I don't want a baby. I don't want to buy a house with you, and I don't want to get married. And so they're very attracted, and it was just so interesting, the social experiment of it all. I think go out with them. But
I think younger men, for me anyway,
it's the way to go. Babe.
Well, they find me attractive.
Very
younger men really I don't think they hold the same ageism that our are you Gen X, right?
Gen X,
The
they see it as powerful.
Higher end of Gen X. I just crept in there.
They see the power and the beauty, and that was shocking and very illuminating.
They do, and also for me, I think with the silver hair, they see some level of authenticity as well, and I think they admire boldness and and somebody who is just living their life in a way that they choose to. I think they find all of that attractive. Whereas men my age, I think when they see my hair color, they see their grandma and their mother, maybe their sister, but they don't see desirable.
Do you think they're still infected by the ageism?
They are. They're looking for younger women. Yeah, 100%. That's a factor that makes it difficult for me. My thing was I didn't ever want to lie about my age.
Yeah.
Because I never lied about my age, but I was ashamed of it in my 40s. And avoided talking about age. So I never wanted to do it. But what she said actually made sense to me as an experiment. See if you do get somebody your age, if you put in that you're younger, because if they see you, because they're just not seeing you now. Yeah.
You've just turned 60.
I have.
Talk to me about this new decade and what it means to you.
I call it leveling. I like to think of each year as a level because I think that helps to
level up.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're doing. We're leveling up with each year. We get greater with each year. Time and experience make us more, it enriches us. And I just think we don't talk about that enough. And so that's my spin on every birthday is it's a level up. And being 60, my 50s was so incredible and so affirming, and I just chose to live with abandonment to a degree, in a way I'd never done before. And so I felt a little bit sad, if I'm honest, to say goodbye to my 50s because it has been so incredible. But I am really excited about being the new kid on the block in my 60s now. And I know, there's this thing that age is just a number, but age is just a number, isn't it? Age is just a number. I actually don't subscribe to that because I really feel like, age is something that should define us. Like, I don't like the terminology.
Yeah.
Ageless.
Kelly up in the house.
Oh God, yeah.
He used to say age is just a number.
And ageless and, of that. I feel like age
I
should
embrace it.
Yeah, and I feel like it does define us in the sense that it shouldn't define you and pigeonhole you, but it should give us a level of we should have a bit of respect at this
elder
time.
Respect.
Yeah, and I look forward to. People shy away from the word elder. I look forward to that.
I want to be a village elder.
I know, like a matriarch and the power and sit in my power.
Yes.
So I'm not afraid of aging. I'm not. I'm embracing it in that sense. But I'm excited about this new decade.
So you are excited. And what would you tell other women who might not have your enthusiasm for leveling up? How can they embrace their age and their power?
I think it's an inside job. And I think it really is. You can't change societal views. You can't change beauty standards around aging, and you can't change expectation from society around aging, but you can change how you feel about it. And by doing that, you do change society.
Yes.
I feel like the moment I decided that this is a powerful thing, that this is something that I should be proud of, that this is something that I can walk with my chest puffed out and feel the power of this time in life. Once you do that, you exude it and people see it, and that changes things around you. We can shout about it and we can, I do as much as I can do to kind of affect other people and society, but really it starts inside. It starts in you, and you have to just identify what's great about this time in life and also live in this time in life as well. And I think that's for every age. Yeah. There are great things about every decade in life. They're different, but there are great things about every decade. And I think you just tap into that, hold on to that, and you'll be good.
I love that. And if you were to go in a time machine back to first act Mia, what advice would you give her?
Firstly, I would thank her. I would thank Mia, young Mia, for her resilience and tenacity and survival. But at the same time, I would advise her to get therapy. I would say, you know, I haven't done it yet, and I've only just realized that I actually need to. And back then, it really wasn't an option. You know, it wasn't something I even thought about. One, there was taboo around it. You know, and so yeah, it wasn't even something I thought about getting. So I would tell my younger self to do that, do the work, do the inner work. I would also tell her to seek guidance. That's something I never did. Seek a mentor, get some kind of... I never had support and guidance.
Don't trust anyone.
I was out on my own. I had a few mother figures, maternal people that kind of took me under their wing momentarily, and I'm grateful for that. But I didn't go and seek of it. There were people that saw it in me, saw maybe I needed something in that moment, and said, you know, gave me a few nuggets of their wisdom along the way. But I would tell my younger self to go and seek guidance, seek an older person that's gonna see something in you.
Well, I often think people become what they need, and you are becoming the badass elder you probably needed.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And so,
I guess
you are. I think you always become what you deep down wanted.
Yes.
And that you are becoming this beautiful, maternal, shining elder that I think little Mia would be very proud of.
I'll step into that. Thank you.
It's time for your second act, where we read emails and voice notes sent in by you, my wonderful listeners. And this one is from Lizzie.
Hello, it's Lizzie here. A question I often ask myself is, how do I want to curate my life now? It's a good question to ask ourselves, I think. And especially after a time of loss or change in our lives, as life ebbs and flows, it's a good question to check in with ourselves and ask.
I love that, Lizzie. Thank you so much. So, Mia, Lizzie's asking, how should she curate her life? You're starting a new decade.
I am.
That's something I don't think even many of us think about. But what, you know what it is? It's out of survival into thriving. What does thriving, curated Mia's life look like that you could inspire Lizzie with?
I mean, it's got to come from her, to be honest with you. I think for me, it's also, it's about, I think what happened to me in this phase, in this stage of life, was that I got the mentality of it's now or never. There's a sense of urgency that comes with this time in life when you're something you're not aware of when you're younger is your mortality, or the time is, you know, of the essence.
Life force.
So there's an urgency but not in a panic sense for me. I don't, you know, I can only speak for myself. It's more like, I'm going to say yes more, and I'm going to do the thing that I've wanted to do. That you need to do the thing. So it's for her to really maybe sit down with a pen and paper, write the list of things that she's always wanted to do, make sure that there's no regrets ahead of her, and do the thing. Just do the thing. Just curate what it is that you wanted, what your younger self wanted to do, but also just have a think about the now, like, and also think about what might be holding you back too, and address that. Yeah, it's
a very
personal thing she's asked, and I think that
I love the method of writing it down, being mindful about it,
and intentional,
and the holding you back is a huge thing.
Yes, what's holding you back?
Usually fear, shame.
Usually fear. For me, I think in my younger years, I think, and I think to a degree in dating it does as well.
Fear?
A fear of vulnerability. I've always had to be strong and tough and And I think really loving somebody, which is the type of love that I want. So I've moved off, gone off piece.
No, but it's exposing
it
yourself.
means you have to, there's a level of vulnerability that I was afraid of. And I think that applied a lot throughout my life. Like there were lots of things I said no to because I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want that feeling of the discomfort of vulnerability. So Lizzie needs to find out what it is that is holding her back and address that.
And then dive
and
into it.
then go for it. Go for it, because time is of the essence.
I love that. Thank you so much,
You're
Mia. That was a
welcome.
beautiful question. I hope that helps you, Lizzie. And
Me
thank
too.
you. Thank you so
take that.
much, Mia.
Thank you. It's ended. No.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your beautiful story with us.
My
And please
absolute
come
pleasure.
back.
I would love to do a part 2. I would
Amazing.
love to do a part 2. And 3 and 4.
And 3 and 4, and your Netflix movie and your book. Thanks so much for listening. If you've got a dilemma or question you need answering, email me at secondactpod@hellomagazine.com, and don't forget to rate us if you've enjoyed the show. And you can find all the best second act wisdom from our experts via the Hello Magazine website. And I'll see you next week.